Hi everyone, let's start today's call. The first agenda item is a retrospective review for current spring. Just want to see what we have done right and what we could have done better. Anyone? I think there might be one suggestion that I think we can improve better in terms of the communication. I think that was um, a lag time on the communication on with the CDM team and then CDM team with the FCD team. So that's what it was kind of like causing the delay on wrapping up the changes on the CDM forms. Um, we were expecting that those concepts would be created quickly, and then it required a formal process of a review and approval. And so CDM team now suggesting that those changes just put on hold in future version and just move forward with the rest of the changes. I think that caused like almost a week of delay on wrapping those up. I think maybe for us, maybe we can, maybe especially me, I could have done maybe follow up in a little bit more earlier and things like that to speed that thing up. Another opportunities for improvement, I think, is that um, better arrangement with the big pig team that in terms of their timeline and expectations of piloting the forms. Even though we communicate with them that it would take 10 business days for programming tasks after the form keys are done, I think there are also some misunderstanding that things could be done, just a few days. So I think maybe I need to think of maybe to draft maybe some standard um, um, expectations so that we can communicate better with the implementation team that what's the process, what to expect after the evaluation, things like that. So they wouldn't, they will not think that we're causing the delay. Then also they know what to expect in the first place. So I think that would be like opportunity for improvement in those two areas. I'm not sure if other people have other comments or concerns. Okay. Anyone?
I agree with your observations, Ed.
Okay, cool. And because we're not really finishing up our this spring, and I think the next spring will be clean up spring for the current tickets. Especially I think Simon's majority of Simon's time will be very occupied by working on the two new big pig forms. Especially the medical use questionnaire. I think it's going to take quite a bit of time. That one is quite lengthy and complex. So I'm not going to add any more new tickets to um, for the cleanup spring because um, summer is going to be very busy. Yeah. So that's what I have in mind for the next spring. Just clean up the current tickets. Um, and then there's another um, opportunity of improvement is that I think um, it's more on the testing mUzima on 1.1, 1.5 platform. And seems like the system admin team and the infrastructure team, they also feel like it's the other team's responsibility on fixing the issues, and that's also caused more delay. Even though we identified to them that what they need to do for each team, but I think they still did not really get the message very clear. That one caused also more delay for us to move forward with the actual testing. Um, so that's pretty much it for the first couple agenda items in terms of retrospective review, and also since we don't have ticket grooming for the new spring, since we're going to use clean up the current spring ticket. Um, any more comments or questions before we move to the next agenda item? If not, I would like to do the last call on the mobile CDSS discussions so that I would clean up and documents and also list out some to-do action items for um, for this project. And this is the last call to get any more feedback from everyone, because I know that some of you ping me on the side that to ask some questions about this and how to share the comment and things like that. But I haven't seen any comments or the actual like documentation on the about the comments and things like that. So I just want to do like a last call before we move forward with that, because this is really important, that if you need to share your view so that we keep your suggestions in mind when we move forward with the design. So I don't know if Lawrence or Derek or Eric got a chance to talk to your team or to have some feedback for us. Lawrence, Derek?
I would say, so far, sorry?
Yeah, do you have any comments or suggestions or feedback on the mobile CDSS?
So far, I would say no, but I just let them know. I just let them know that we are planning to embark on their requests 2 months after, and they said maybe as they're approaching that period, they're going to give comments.
Okay. How about Lawrence?
Just a small comment. We were thinking along the lines of having the historical related concepts downloaded within the form, and I don't know, maybe this is more of a design thing more than anything. We are thinking if the variables can be defined within the form, and then the time duration for that we require, like if you need to see labs specific result set, then you can maybe say within the form, as you define the concept, say I just need to see the last 3 results maybe, or you can say from the last 1 year. Like that was just the thinking from yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think what we proposed was that will require historical observations when the form was downloaded, and I don't think we talk about like restricted to selected time frame. I don't know what you guys think, but like for me, I think it would be confusing as a user. If for me, even for me, I think it would be confusing that just to limit to the time frame, because when other observations have, it lists out, ever, but only selected one, only is restricted to limited time frame. For me, if I'm the user, I would feel confusing. But as from the design perspective, I understand why it might be a good approach, that because of the data consumption. So I don't know what Simon and Martin think about this one, actually. Like for me, I can understand both sides, but I prefer to download the whole thing. Simon, Martin, do you have any preference on this one?
No, to me, yes, it will introduce some complexity in terms of determining what concepts to download, based on, because Lawrence is saying there should be a provision to say I only want to download the last 3 observations, or observations that were recorded within this period of time. So yes, it will introduce some level of complexity. So maybe we can just note it down, but during the development we see if if it's possible, then we implement. But maybe we can leave it for a new the next pass.
Yeah, my feel is that it's easier just to download the selected concepts of like just little frame. I think it would be less complicated and also less confusing for the users.
And yeah, maybe if it's a bit intensive, like at this point in time, then maybe we could just work with what will have been done by that point. Then maybe the other considerations can be done as we move forward. That was just a thought.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Maybe we just put on the notes, just like what some suggested. It's not like we would not forget that this is some. Thanks, Lawrence. You have thought of.
Not necessarily. I really wish Kirui was in, but maybe he can throw any other thoughts that he may have
Okay.
on.
Okay, good. Thanks, Lawrence. If there's no, so just please share those with us, and then so we can document that and update it. Thank you everyone on this topic. And the next one is about supposed to be. So Eric, is Ruth with you?
Yes, Anna, you're Ruth and Roy.
Oh, hi, girls. So Ruth, do you mind to just give us like a brief update how things are with the device management and security app testing going?
Yes. We were able to go through with Sheila on the server side, and there are a few suggestions that we suggested to Sam through an email.
Hey,
Go ahead.
We are waiting for the feedback from Sam because we had questions on if the application can work without on a device that has no SIM card,
Yes.
and how we can get reports on how many devices were wiped on a specific day. So we pinged Sam on the same, and we're waiting for the feedback. I still have the blocker which I created a ticket for.
Yes.
I cannot continue testing because you cannot register device on the device side.
Okay.
Because of the error.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll I will ping Sam on those two then.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah.
And okay, so just want to summarize what Ruth say. So testing has been done, by Ruth and Sheila, and there's a couple questions on the on the server side I sent to Sam and waiting for his feedback and responses. As one block on the device side that it has been created on the ticket, and they cannot move forward until that blocker ticket is resolved. Yes, sure. Sounds good. Martin, on your questions on the side, yes. So that's the update on the device management and security testing. And now move to the implementation update. So Derek, do you want to share an update on luck? How things going on luck?
So far, I would say everything is working well, just like I responded last week. I managed to get out I managed to go out to the field last week on Friday, whereby I did some big training on the CHWs in the Seru together with the Trigoin, and we were also trying to iron out the issues why or are they not like doing their work of collecting data in using the beer tools? And with me was the coordinator and the research assistants, of which most of the issues were mostly administrative issues, whereby RSP officers had not released money for them to be paid. But we did agree that will be they identify at least a specific number of patients from the list that we gave them. This particular patient are a patient that was supposed to have linked from the previous screenings to have linked, but they have not linked yet. They identified these particular patients. Then on Thursday of this week, we'll go out and visit these particular patients all together with them as we do live entry of the BA tools. So far so good. The VM server and the costing questionnaire still going on well. Error resolution is also going on well, doing checking and resolving these particular errors so far weekly. I'm responsible for doing the production server, while the data manager from LAC is responsible for the VM server. From my side, I would say so far so good. I haven't checked the VM server today, but I talked to him last week on Friday, and he said that he's working on it. So far, I would say so good.
Yeah, so it would be good to know what are the common, the most frequent errors happen on the costing questionnaire. It'd be really helpful to share those with us, because Simon is starting to work on the big pig costing questionnaire. I think they're quite similar, so it would be great to share those most frequent errors with us, so that we can keep in mind how to avoid those in the big pig costing questionnaire.
Yeah, I hear you. Thanks. For Simon, I'll ping you on the same.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's that. And Lawrence?
As CDM, I think we are okay. We'll probably schedule for a refresher soon, and maybe the CDM team will sit down and discuss and decide whether it would be best to do it once the two forms are out and on production, or we can do it earlier, because I think there are quite a number of features that have been improved on the APK itself, which I think is important for the users to be able to understand and be able to use better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So for the big pig project, so Simon, I don't know if you want to rearrange the order. I think I can finish. Actually, I spent some time on the weekend to map the network survey form. I think that one would be less complicated to program when compared to um, the medical use and assessment, that one. I don't know if you want to, if I can finish the mapping on the social network survey. Maybe it's better for you to start on that one, so that it takes less. I would think it would take less time on programming that one versus the custom questionnaire.
But I think it's okay. I'll just finish the costing form while you work on the network survey.
Okay. Yeah, because I think the costing form is quite long. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. I think last time oncology group um, keep to said that there was some old error that need to be corrected in the data backend side. I think Simon, you spent some time with him, right?
Yeah. I spent some time with Kipto.
Yes.
So what I found is that the issues related to user registration, because there are quite a number of forms that did not have corresponding registration forms. So for those ones, what you do is basically to re-register those patients, and then link the new registration accounts with the current encounter forms on the error queue. Yeah, and so there was And then there was another set of those errors that have registration forms, but those registration forms failing because of one reason or another. Some failed because there was duplicate record found, and others because the identifier assigned was duplicate.
Okay, okay. So those are more like those are usual cases, yes. That create duplicate records or somehow they assign duplicate ID. So those are not like programmatic issues. But I'm concerned how can they fill out the non-registration form and then cannot find the record? Is it because they went to the error queue as a duplicate? Is it the reason, or I don't know how it's possible that to fill out for example, like a VF form without a record? Do you know how that happened?
Ed, I didn't get your question correctly. My connection is a bit.
Okay, so my concern is those payload that those non-registration payload cannot find the registration record. How can that happen? Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, you're asking why those non-registration errors cannot find registration.
Yes.
Okay. So the reason is that the registrations were not processed. So I don't know. Do you mean for those that were duplicate registrations, or generally all of them?
For the first use case that you mentioned was like some of those encounters they cannot find the registration record. That's why they cannot be processed. Is it because those are caused by the duplicate registration, so that they can no?
No. For the first use case, it is strange. The patients are not registered, and the registration forms are not on the hierarchy.
Yeah, I don't know how that's
surprising. Yeah, I wonder how the encounters were submitted without the corresponding registration forms.
Yeah. I mean, you cannot even fill one out.
Yeah. So it is strange, unless because some of them were done as around June last year. So I don't know which version of the APK they were using, or whether it can be attributed to the APK, or maybe the registration form data was not synced to the server side, or whether it was it got lost while on the error queue. I don't understand why.
I think the only possibility I can think of is that they select the non-registration data to sync to the server, and then later on to delete the registration data. That's the only thing I can think of. I think maybe like for us, we need to avoid that on the APK side, that whenever to sync, when there's like corresponding, registration data with non-registration data, they need to sync at the same time, cannot be one or the other. I cannot just like sync the non-registration data without the registration data.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of that is, how, because we don't have the validation for that one, I don't think.
Yeah, sure. But so what Kipto should do for those ones, he will have to re-register. So he said he can find that information. There's a book where they record details of date of birth and the location where the patient comes from.
Yeah.
So he will have to re-register those records.
Okay.
And one of the challenges he mentioned is that you see, when you re-register a patient, or if you want to link an encounter form to an existing patient record, like in the case of duplicate registrations, he requires to go to the database and retrieve patient UID for the patients, and then insert that UID in the payload on the error kit for the encounter.
Okay.
Yeah, so that while it processes, it can correctly link to the registered patient. So in order to do that, he requires some access to the backend, which currently he doesn't have.
Because I think right now in the actual error queue, there's not that many payload. Maybe we can just extract that part, the payload part for him, and then he can just find the UID. It's a very small numbers in the error queue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one that I think is good that you found out. I think we need to add a rule there that we have to sync the if there's like corresponding registration data, we cannot just sync the non-registration data without that. Because I'm concerned like they sync some and then they did not sync the other, because when they test it, oh, I sync here, and then they go and delete the record. Yeah, so okay.
Yeah, so we must sync both forms.
Yes.
And if a patient is registered on the device and that patient has an encounter form, then that patient record cannot be deleted. I mean that form data cannot be deleted. Yeah.
I think they cannot. They can. I think I remember. I did not really try to delete the registration form. I think, yeah, I need to test on that one. Yeah. Good to know. Thank you, Simon. Is there other so that's pretty much our agenda item. Is there other comments on concern or anything that anyone want to share before we wrap up today's call? If not, this is a short call for us. Again, I just want to say that thank everyone for your contributions, and for the next spring, we're going to do the cleanup for the current spring ticket, because it's going to take quite a bit of time to program the 2 new forms, as well as finish up the 2 CDM forms. So it's going to be forms week, and also device management, as well as testing capability with the platform 1.1, 1.5. That's pretty much what we're going to focus on for the next 2 weeks. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue out to chat with you through IRC and also tickets. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Sunday.